All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking exactly why your personal protective equipment, your PPE, isn't some kind of magic force field. It's actually your absolute last line of defense on a construction site. We're going to look closely at the standards set out by organizations like the BCCSA and SiteReady BC to understand how keeping yourself safe is about so much more than just throwing on a vest. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The last line of defense. 2. Basic versus specialized gear. 3. Dressing for the elements. 4. Head-to-toe physical protection. And 5. Visibility and respiratory safety. Section 1. The last line of defense. So here's the crucial thing to wrap your head around. Throwing on a hard hat doesn't magically make falling objects disappear, right? PPE doesn't actually eliminate the hazard. If you're relying solely on your gear, you are literally still standing right in the danger zone. The whole point of PPE is just to minimize the permanent damage or illness when that direct contact inevitably happens. It's super effective, sure, but only when you use it as an extra layer of protection combined with other site safety methods. Moving on to Section 2, Basic versus Specialized Gear. There's a really strict dichotomy in workplace safety rules here. As a worker, you're expected to bring the basic elements to protect yourself from general hazards. We're talking your hard hat, your steel-toed boots, and your general work gloves. But when the job gets highly specific, that responsibility shifts. Your employer absolutely must provide the specialized gear. Think respirators for dust, high-vis vests for traffic, or specialized safety glasses. And they have to do it at absolutely zero cost to you. Because ultimately, safety is a team sport. If your basic boots wear out from months of kicking around concrete, well, it's on you to replace them. And if your specialized gear malfunctions, it's your duty to speak up and report it. But your supervisor, they've got major responsibilities too. They have to make sure that specialized PPE is actually available when you need it, verify that everyone is wearing it correctly, and confirm the whole shebang is being properly maintained. Which brings us to Section 3, Dressing for the Elements. Now, it might seem totally crazy to wear long sleeves in the dead of summer, right? But exposed skin on a construction site is quite literally just asking for a career-ending cut or abrasion. That's exactly why the rules strictly prohibit shorts or sleeveless shirts. No exceptions. And what about when it's cold and wet out? Layering and waterproof gear are absolute lifesavers. If you get soaked, your heat loss accelerates fast. If your hands get too cold, you lose your dexterity, which is incredibly dangerous if you're handling heavy materials or delicate testing equipment. That's why taking micro breaks in a warm, dry place isn't just nice to have, it's an essential safety practice. Let's dive into Section 4, Head-to-toe physical protection. Starting right at the top with the classic hard hat, construction sites are just full of overhead hazards. Someone drops a tool, a crane swings a load, and boom, suddenly you're facing a spinal injury or a severe concussion. Now, if you're working over 10 feet high or if it's super windy, a chin strap is mandatory. But here's a massive rule that people ignore all the time. You might love decorating your hard hat, but you should never, ever write on it, modify it, or slap unauthorized stickers on the shell. Why? Because doing so completely hides the hairline cracks that compromise the hat's integrity. That fun little sticker could quite literally cost you your life by preventing a proper daily inspection. Moving down to your feet, imagine stepping on a nail sticking out of some formwork or accidentally dropping a heavy concrete cylinder. This little green triangle on your boots is often the only thing standing between you and a totally shattered foot. The Canadian Standards Association, or CSA, requires this green triangle to prove the boot is Grade 1. That means it's packing a reinforced toe cap to prevent crushing injuries and a specialized plate to stop anything from puncturing right through the sole. And not all gloves are created equal. If you're handling wet concrete for a slump test, you absolutely need rubber-coated gloves. The alkaline nature of concrete is brutal and can cause severe, lasting cement burns. But say you're using a heavy Proctor hammer for soil compaction. Then you need impact gloves with a thick rubber backing to prevent crushing your fingers. You've got to consult those CCOHS guidelines to match the exact glove to the specific task you're tackling. We also can't forget about your senses. A single flying piece of debris from a skill saw or a nail gun can cause permanent, lifelong blindness in a fraction of a second. And hey, even if you wear prescription glasses, they aren't enough on their own. They must be CSA approved and have side shields to even be allowed on site. As for your hearing, the really tricky thing about noise from concrete saws or excavators is that it doesn't always hurt immediately, but the deafness it causes over time is entirely irreversible. If noise hazards are even suspected, employers are strictly required to test the site levels to make sure you're given the right earplugs or earmuffs. All right, let's wrap up the gear with Section 5, Visibility and Respiratory Safety. So we've talked about dropping heavy things and stepping on sharp things. But what about the hazards you can't easily see? How do you survive a 20-ton mobile excavator backing up into a blind spot? Or microscopic clouds of dust that quietly destroy your lungs from the inside out? Well, this is exactly where high-visibility vests come into play. Sites are absolutely packed with moving machinery. To make sure operators actually see you, your vest needs to have at least a 2-inch reflective trim and be a really bright contrasting color, like fluorescent yellow, green, orange, or red. The specific patterns matter a lot, too. Take the X pattern on the back, for example. It instantly signals to an operator that you're facing away from them and might not see them coming. But here's the catch. If your high-vis vest is caked in mud or concrete, you might as well be completely invisible in the rainy dark. Keep it clean or request a new one. Then there are the airborne hazards. Green cutting concrete produces microscopic silica dust that can cause completely irreversible lung disease. To survive this, you need a respirator. But there is a very strict rule for tight-fitting masks. You must be completely clean-shaven. Seriously, even just a 5 o'clock shadow instantly breaks the seal of your respirator, and that sucks toxic silica directly into your lungs. Also, you can't just guess your size. It is literally illegal in Canada to use a tight-fitting mask without passing a mandatory annual fit test conducted by a qualified professional for that exact make and model. We've covered a ton of gear today, but honestly, none of it matters if it fails when you need it the absolute most. You are the final inspector of your own life-saving gear. The single most critical habit you can build is checking your boots, your hard hat, your gloves, and your masks for wear and tear before every single use. I want to leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Workplace safety is absolutely a shared responsibility between you and your employer. But at the very end of the day, when things go sideways, it's your life, your vision, and your limbs on the line. So take a hard look at what you're wearing right now, verify your gear, respect the elements, and never step foot on site until you are absolutely sure you are protected. Thanks for exploring this with me today. Stay safe out there.